I do a channel called the Stargate Guy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So theories, character profiles, racial profiles, interviews, on location
You see
videos.
racial profiles? We do some racial profiles.
Racial profiling, yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
So how would you define your character?
Oh my God, how would I define Major Davis? I gotta remember, because it's been 20 years, man. I gotta go back and think, all right, who was Major Davis and what was he all about? Liaison to the Pentagon. I think he was a guy that was basically had a job, had a task to do, had his orders, and yet also knew, once he got to meet the SG-1 team, that sometimes those orders had consequences that the power-ups couldn't see, but he could. And I think he was conflicted in some of the stuff that he had to do. So I think that was kind of what made him interesting.
Yeah. So are there any, let's try that again. Are there any elements of you that rubbed off onto Major Davis?
Well, I guess, maybe, I suppose. I mean, you just kind of be as truthful. It wasn't a heavy character. It wasn't like I had to get, it was easier to do. It was basically, I think it was more his function, as in his job was to do this and to do it efficiently and to get it done. And so it was, I don't know, if anything, the writing, I think, really holds up still, Stargate. So the writers probably did a lot more of that work than I ever needed it to, which was very cool.
Yeah. What about the other way around?
In terms of?
Did any elements of the character, personality, manual?
Did I take him home with me?
Yeah, did any of that rub off?
No, other than just some gratitude for being able to work on such a great show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been 20 years since the show started, 10 years since, it went off the air. There are still fans all over the world who are doing conventions, actors, directors, behind the scenes people going around to all these different conventions. Why do you still do that?
It's fun. It's great to see everyone. I don't know, what's the old saying, or the Chinese have a saying, they say it's better to wear out one's shoes than one's sheets. So it's an opportunity, look, it's an opportunity to be an ambassador for such an amazing show and to meet people from all over the world, to go to Taiwan and there's a Stargate fan, so it's amazing. I mean, it really is. Like, I was literally shooting, this is going back 15 years, I was literally in Lithuania shooting another thing in this little room that had a TV. I flipped it on. There was Stargate, and there was Major Davis, that's me, and I'm speaking Lithuanian, or German, or Chinese, or whatever, and it's just like, it really does. It's incredibly cool, but it's also very strange, because when you do a job as an actor, you're just grateful to pay your rent. You're grateful to put a turkey sandwich into your face. I mean, that's what it's about. You think in terms of craft and doing something good, but you have to pinch yourself sometimes. You really do. It's all just so strange.
Yeah. So then, after dealing with all of these fans, going to all these different conventions, there's got to be a couple of weird times, where you met with fans. It was just plain weird.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's so strange. I think, yes, but I used to think the fans were weird because, just cosplay and Stargate and fantasy and sci-fi. But once you come to a couple of these cons, what's weird for me now is when I leave them and I go back and there's people living lives that have no fantasy, that have no imagination. And that, it starts to change and you start realizing, no, that's the weird thing. This is great. It's an opportunity to let go, to let your mind go, your creative spark light up. It's an amazing thing. It really is. But look, there's some weirdness too. But you got to smile and laugh at it, because I was weird in school. I think a lot of us become actors is because we weren't the cool kids. You know, we were the shunned or the oddballs, you know, and so we would go into our own minds and play with our own imaginations, and that ended up sprouting into you know, a passion for acting. So I think there's a lot of similarities, you know, with those that, I mean, I was Mad Magazine and, you know, like all the horror mags, you know, and you know, special effects makeup and all these incredible publications that were out at the time because we didn't have the internet. So always diving into that kind of stuff, you know. It's good stuff. I don't know. There's a kinship between the actors here, and I think the fans that watch the shows.
Yeah. So what do you think the biggest impact that Stargate has had on you?
I guess the community. You know, it does sound it sounds really stupid sometimes to say family, so I'm not going to say it. But there's definitely a fraternal element to it it's very cool. I mean, look, it's been 18 years, and I'm seeing people that I met 18 years ago, and we're all 18 years older, and they're older, and I'm like, wow, and I'm sure they're looking at me going, wow, you're older too, and we're all getting older. And yet we're all still here, you know. And then you meet their kids. That you know, here's a photo of you, Colin, holding the newborn, and now there's you know, Stephanie now, and she's 5'11". It's like, holy crap! So it's amazing. It just keeps evolving, and it keeps becoming something new, and yet it's all tied to this friggin' show about jumping through a gate and going to places, you know. So. I don't know, I'm glad it's still around. I was so happy to see there was a raising of hands, you know, this is your first con, you know, your first Gatecon. And so many hands went up, like 100 hands went up. And that's fantastic. That's new fans, new con goers, you know. It's not like people have been doing it forever and ever and ever, you know. So it's a lot of new blood. And I think, again, that's a testament to Brad Wright and Martin Wood and the incredible just the Malazi and just all these people that in MGM that have created this amazing show.
Do you have any regrets at all about something that you did or something you didn't do when working on the show? Yeah. I wish if I could have been less nervous, just been a little bit more present, I suppose. I was terrified the whole time. I really was. I was absolutely terrified. But one thing I would have done, definitely, like I remember I got hired and I thought, okay, and I was like, I got a day on it. And I thought, well, and then when that day was finished, I'm never coming back here again. You know, I'm not going to be on the show anymore. And then I got another day. And I'm like, wow, you know, but I never learned anybody's name, like the crew. You know, the crew, I knew some of the actors or whatever. Yeah. But the crew, and there's a lot of crew. And I thought, well, that's a lot of people, and I'm never going to see them again. So there'd be no sense in remembering anybody's name. Anyway, and then there was the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time. I was on the show for 10 friggin' years, and I never learned anybody's name, and it was awful. And I'm thinking, you ass, you're such an ass, because they're great folks. And then you reach that point where it's like, then you can't ask. You can't ask. It's like, I've been working with you for 9 years, dumbass. You don't know my name, so you can't even say it anymore. So you just kind of it's just so that I would change. Yeah. I would if I could go back in time. So did you use the classic, you know, hey you, and you know,
I don't even know. I don't even know what I did or how I did it. You know, it was just like. Because every time you went, you thought, I'm not going to be here anymore. And you could never relax either. So I never felt like I was part of the Stargate family. Not back then. I was terrified thinking, God, I'm never coming back here. They're going to find out that I suck and that, you know, that they made a big mistake and they're going to get someone else to stick a Major Davis button on, you know, and that'll be the end of me. Oh, nuts, man.
Yeah. Well, is there anything that you would like to say to the fans?
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know which camera's mine. Thank you, but thank you. Yeah, no, heartfelt. It's been a wild ride, man. Because you also you go through changes in life, and you're a younger man, then you're kind of not so young, and you go through some stuff, and things happen in life. It happens to all of us, you know. And to come back and see Stargate again, I think I'm seeing it with a very fresh and new perspective again. Feels a little full circle. It's like, wow, that was cool. If I didn't know it then, by darn it, I know it now. You know, pretty cool.
What do you think the future of the franchise will be, given that it's been living without new material?
It's never going to end. I'll tell you, as long as they keep, it wasn't the fact that I think, yeah, the premise is great, jumping through the Stargate and going to different places and all that kind of stuff. It's a fantastic thing. But it's the writing. The writing was always solid. If you skimp on the writing, it'll go the way of the dodo. But the reason Stargate was great was because of the quality, and they didn't cut corners. At least they were very careful when they did. And if they did it in a smart way. Okay, we don't have the money for that. How can we do it in a way that's smart or funny or just good? So if they can keep that tradition alive, it'll never end. It'll never end, you know.
One of the classic examples that comes to my mind is how it must have been a budget issue, because there was a point where they just did a clip show.
Right.
But they did a clip show where
They were fantastic.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
You know, they became the masters of the clip show.
Yeah.
You know,
No, and again, it's like, there you go. Other shows will be like, we don't have the money for it. All right, well then we'll do whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas you'll get Brad or Martin or any of these guys saying, well, no, hang on a second. This is just another opportunity, and that's what makes it good. That's what makes it good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And cut.